I'm with one of my new favorite people who's been probably the nicest person in the whole Twitter world to me. Yeah,
Thank you.
yes. Miss Carrie Bugby, who has a very cool story. She tweets as Peggy Olson, at Peggy Olson, who's the crazy character on Mad Men, if you watch that show, which I just started watching because of you.
Oh, excellent.
Like, yeah. I jumped in first season, and now I've seen episodes on the second season.
Okay,
So I've missed a whole
good.
segment. So you might be able to fill me in on
Of
what's
course,
going on.
yeah.
What's going on? So tell me a little bit about, because I don't know if people really understand even what I'm saying, what you did and where you got the idea and how it works.
Sure. Well, for anyone who doesn't watch the show, Mad Men is an award-winning drama, won a Golden Globe, won some Emmys on AMC, and it's set in 1962, and it's all about the inner workings of an ad agency and then some of the details of the personal lives of the different people who work there.
That's awesome. My favorite is when the ladies are drinking and smoking and they're like
Yeah.
7 months pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and my character was pregnant but didn't tell anybody.
Nice.
Yeah. In fact, she didn't even acknowledge it to herself until the day she gave birth. She went in with a backache. You know, you hear about, how does that happen? Well, I don't know. Denial.
Denial. Just total denial. So how's it? So you get an idea. So you got the idea. You started tweeting. Do you carry the script out? Do you write it out ahead of time? Is there a secret? What do you?
No, it's very spontaneous, but the key to having good spontaneity is having a really good handle on the backstory and sort of really getting inside the character's head. So, you know, a lot of research goes into that, and of course, because you want to keep it authentic, a lot of research might even go into individual tweets because by the way, all the Mad Men characters are on Twitter, and I was the third, so it wasn't my original idea.
Okay.
The first was Don Draper, who was the main guy in the Mad Men story. He's the creative director at Sterling Cooper, the name of the agency. And Peggy Olson, my character, is an up-and-coming copywriter, and she's a really interesting anomaly in this story. She was, so, you know, since I was the third person who chose to do this, all the characters were available except for two, but I chose Peggy because she's the only woman on the show who's not a clerical worker or a housewife.
Yeah.
So she got promoted to copywriter, and I am a copywriter. I have been a copywriter, and you know, so she.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So.
Now, do people correspond back and forth?
Oh, absolutely, and that's the bulk of the conversation. And so, yeah, people want to talk about your interactions with the other characters. Because Peggy's kind of the underdog. She's in the man's world.
Yeah.
You know, she's in the boys' club, and she has to work really hard to get recognized and to be promoted. I mean, she has to work harder than all the other guys. I mean, she's the person who has her head down, who's working really hard. She's very serious. She's very earnest, while the guys are sort of just cutting up and goofing off a lot.
Having their afternoon bourbons.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So because she's that kind of character, she's kind of the underdog, and people really root for her. And they like to warn her against things. They're like, oh, don't hang out with him. Oh, don't go down that road. Oh, don't talk to him.
Right.
Beware of what that person says. So that tends to be a lot of the engagement. People like to give her tips because she's a little bit naive. She's only 22, I think, in the first episode. So early 20s still. And so, you know, she's just trying to figure it out as she goes along. And so people really want to help her.
So do you have to like be in the zone? I mean, is there times when you log in and decide, okay, I'm going to do this now? Does that make sense? Or
No,
can you just Peggy
I
Olson?
can do it anytime. Yeah.
So you can be Peggy Olson right now. I mean, you can be right close.
Well, sure, yeah. To write, yeah. But like I said, a lot of detail went into that.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I started tweeting as Peggy Olson, it was about the middle of the second season. And I'd already seen the first season the year before and was watching all the episodes avidly in the second season. But I went back and rewatched the entire first season and transcribed all her dialogue in the second season. And I can't remember if I transcribed all her dialogue in the first season. Certainly key elements, key points of that. So, yeah, no, I transcribed all her dialogue because I wanted to get the hang of what the cadence of her speech was like, what she talked about. and sort of have a sense of how she interacted with those
Yeah.
other characters on more than just a cursory fan level. I mean, try to really get inside her head.
Right. So you really do. You also promote when the show's on. I mean, does it help promote when the show's on and that type of stuff? I mean,
Well, during the season, people know that
Right.
the first airing of the show is on Sunday nights, which means, Twitter is a great microcosm of just what's going on in the world at
yes,
large.
this is where you guys are going to learn